Hey, welcome back to Karen's Papercraft. Today I have this really sweet card to show you, but the video is not really about the card, the video is about the matching envelope that I've made. Now these are made of 4 pieces of 6x6 designer series paper. Sometimes I find that I have quite a lot of my 6x6 designer series paper left, and I decided to make a card and a matching envelope. So if you're curious as to how you can make a beautiful envelope like this, see, it opens like this, keep watching and I'll show you. So here's another look at the card, but I'm going to show you how I made the envelope. Now I've chosen this paper, so I've decided to use matching paper for the envelope. I'm going to make this the top of the envelope and this the bottom, because the ribbon that I've chosen is, well, you see it better on the green than you do on the stripe bit, so that's my reason for choosing this as the bottom and that as the top. Now you need 2 sheets to make the front and 2 sheets to make the back of the card. First you need the top piece. That has to be 5 by 6 inches. Now the paper is 6 by 6, so all I have to do is cut off a 1-inch strip, and the bottom part is 4 by 6 inches. So again I'm cutting off a strip, and while I'm cutting I'll do the other 2 pieces as well. For the second part, the top has to be 5 by 5. So I've cut off 2 1-inch strips, and the other part is 4.5 by 5. So that's the other 2 bits. First we're going to adhere them together, and you put the marking that you want on the top part and you stick the bottom part over. Now you want 3/8 of an inch, because you're going to use the tear and tape, which is 1/4 inch, and you want to be just a bit outside of that. What I do is I just take my grid paper and measure 3/8 of an inch. Where's my pencil? So there. And there. Now I'm putting my paper against these marks. And now I know I've measured 3/8 of an inch. Then I'm taking my tear and tape and I'm putting a strip onto the edge where I've put the pencil mark. And then I'm ready to stick this piece on, and I'm going to stick it, and I'm not sure if the camera picks it up, but here's my pencil mark. I'll make it a bit darker with using pen, and I'm just sticking it from that pencil mark to the pencil mark, and then I know it's on straight, and I know that on both sides of my envelope I've used the same distance. That's why I'm measuring it. Now before I stick it down, I do it like this. I don't take away all of the backing, because I'm going to attach it in the corners first. Well, it's not a corner really. Well, it is, this side it's a corner. So I'm putting it on the pencil mark and here as well. Then you can push down and attach it, and then you can use your bone folder to make sure it adheres well. I'm going to repeat that on this end. So, and I'm making sure that when I'm sticking it on I'm using the same edges of the paper, so not this one, but the pink and the pink one. Then you have your 2 bits of paper. You've got one which is a bit wider and one which is a bit longer. Now the wider one you're going to score on two sides at 1/2 inch. And this one you're going to score along the bottom at 1/2 inch. Again, you're putting tear and tape on. For this one, you put the tear and tape on what's going to be the outside of the envelope. And I'm putting it on not too close to the score line, because you want a bit of room there. You don't want the sticky part to stick out. And here, where you put the score line, you're going to put it on what's going to be the inside of the envelope. That's why you put the tear and tape along the bottom part. Then you're going to snip off some corners, but I suppose it's a better idea first to fold them. Then I'm going to wedge the glue flaps. And I have a tip for you in a minute when I've wedged these two bits as well. For the envelope to be able to really adhere flat, you're going to have to cut off a bit there, 1/16 of an inch. Now if you take your stamping trimmer, you've got the groove, and on either side you've got this plastic bit. So you don't put it on the groove, but you put it as far as just over there, the plastic bit. Make sure it's against the top there so that it's on straight. And then you cut off, and then you see this is 1/16 of an inch. If I measure it, see? And that's enough to be able to fit the envelope together. Now then, you're going to have these two bits, and you're going to stick that one on top of that one. Same method, so you remove part of the score line, score line, the backing paper, Karen, score line. And because this is shorter now, here it won't fit exactly, so you make sure you're there at the top, that it matches. Press down, and here you press it down against the score line, and then you can adhere it. See, and here you again remove part of the backing. You fold it to the outside this time, otherwise you won't be able to tear it off again. Because now I can hold this down with my hand and then press down, and there we go. And sometimes here it sticks out just a bit too much. It happens. Every envelope is different, so I just use my scissors and cut away this part if it really sticks out. It doesn't happen with every envelope, but occasionally it does. And then all you have to do now is remove the backing here, fold it over, and your envelope is nearly ready. There's one more score line to make, and this is going to be, this is going to be your front, so it's going to fold over like this. So I'm going to, put away my cutting blade, oh dear. At 2.5 inches, you put a score line, and to make sure it folds well, I do this on both sides of the envelope. And there we go. And now I can fold it over towards the front, like this. Use your bone folder. Nearly there, because I want to attach my ribbon, and I do this again using tear and tape. So not this flap that folds over, but this part, the middle part now. I just put it on my grid paper, and then I see roughly where the middle is, and I'm looking for my ruler and I just draw a line, put some tear and tape on so that it's on straight, and then I can attach my ribbon. Now you need about 20 inches, so that's 16, and I'll make it 24 just to make sure. Look where the middle is. Remove the backing paper. You need nails for that, which I don't have really. Well, I've got nails, but I'll keep them short. And you put your ribbon on. And it helps if you hold the flap down a bit. You could use paper clips, but I have these little pegs. Okay, and then you can tie a bow. It's there somewhere. No, start again. Sometimes, this is better. So, yeah, now it'll work. There we are. This is an example. What you could also do is have the bottom part made of cardstock. I would not do the top part because this is too thick to be able to fold it properly. And I had the 20 inches in my mind because if you have a narrower ribbon, 20 inches is okay. If your ribbon is a bit wider, then I would definitely go for 24 or even 26 inches. Well, I've showed you another example, and here you have the card to go with the envelope. Sweet, aren't they? Well, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.